So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyde. Now, for the review of the day. 5 stars, great practical tips to put to use immediately. I love the listing appointment format. Margaret Fantanini, 5 stars, the CLA course. Keep the comments coming, guys. I love them. And remember, I eat feedback for breakfast, so give me a 1-star review if you want, or a 5-star review if you want. I don't care. And the more reviews we get, the better guests we get. So please, subscribe first, and then leave us a review or wherever you're listening. Okay, Rockstar Nation. Wow, I have a great guest today. I got Rosalia Podolak, like Cadillac, out of Naples, Florida, and Marco Island, Florida. And man, she was turning heads in a very, very, very short period of time. She came out of the gate running. She was like one of the horses in a horse race that just came out of the gate and just immediately took the lead. And we're going to find out how she did that and what she's doing now, among many other things. So without further ado, Rosalia, welcome to Real Estate Rockstars.
Woohoo! Thank you, Pat. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
Hey, why don't you tell everybody about yourself, Rosalia?
Sure. Well, I'm originally from Chicago area. Both of my parents are from Italy, so I'm first generation, born in the States. I speak Italian and Spanish. Studied abroad in Spain for a while. Moved to Marco Island when I was 12 years old. And at that time, Marco Island in Naples is not what it is today. People now exactly know where we're located. At first, you had to tell people like where you were on a map. Have 17 years of banking experience behind me, and then got into real estate during the recession through actually one of my business customers. He told me, wow, you'd be great at real estate. You need to come on board. And it actually was a really tough go at the beginning. Right before I got my real estate license, my husband and I literally both got laid off corporate America. We were the kind of people that you promote all the time, never got laid off before, and ended up with $28 in our checking account.
Okay, wait a minute. So you and your husband were at the same company?
No, we were actually at different places. He's a chief engineer of a resort, and I was at banking at the time.
And you were 17 years in at the same company?
Yeah. Well, three different banks, but then, you know, the big fish gets the little fish.
Yeah. And then they just cut you.
And then, yeah. And then you realize maybe I was thinking, you know, if I go and work for a company, I have a steady paycheck. Security is a delusion, right? It's correct. Yeah. It is like no day is like, there's nothing guaranteed. So that's when I started really harnessing my entrepreneurial spirit. Apart from already doing a lot of charity work in the area, to date I've raised $121,000 for local charities and helping people in need in our community. And I think karma plays a big part in, not that you expect anything in return, but I think people remember you know, how great you are as a person and what you do for others. And for me, I've received it tenfold. It does more for me when I do well for somebody else than other way around. Yeah, absolutely. You get by giving. So tell me about this. So you got $28, right? You and your husband are laid off. Yeah, like, I'm pregnant with my second child. Most people would not choose 100% commission business to go into at this point. I mean, like what were you thinking? Well, the birth date of my second daughter, he got a job. Thank God, because it was really, really a tough. On the day she was born. On the day she was born, my little Zoe to the world was alive and thriving. And so he's like, you know what? Go for it. And I was like, thank God, like somebody believes in me. He believes in me. And you know, at that point you realize we've done it before. We'll make it again. I lost all my 401k because the bank got taken over by FDIC. just like so many things that happened.
You lost your 401k?
Yeah, totally down the drain.
To zero? So the bank went under, and all your 401k was in bank stock?
Bank went under. And then, you know, actually this painting right behind me, I painted that during the recession. It's called Make Lemonade.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I'm always very positive. I always look at the glass half full. So you realize life is a gift. And through my charity work, I also realize like there's people that don't have legs or arms or like,
yes, indeed.
There's so many more problems that I'm like, this is nothing. This is just monetary.
Yes.
Right? And so I'm like, no, plunged right in. Within 2 weeks that I got my license, I got my first deal. $625,000 deal, commercial on top of it, not even residential.
Okay, so how? Like, tell me that story, right?
So I had a mentor who brought me into the business.
Yep.
And he was like, Rosalia, you have so many contacts. It would be great real estate, you know, for you, for your family. And so I thought, you know, why not plunge in? And it was one of those things because I'm so used to helping others. He's like, it's just an extension of helping somebody because it's one of the biggest purchases that you make in your life, whether it's for investment or personal. I mean, it's a personal thing, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought, wow, that really is an extension of helping people. And so I went, I got my license. And then I was referred through a customer from the bank, this commercial investor, who now ended up to be a very, very close friend. And we've done over $4 million in business together within the last 3 years.
Wow, really? Okay.
And I told him, and I always feel like communication is key, being open with people. So I let him know. I was like, because he's like, how long have you been?
So how did you meet? Yeah, how did you meet this guy?
So through a referral, and that's why
it was like a friend of yours said, "Hey, you know."
It was actually a business customer of mine at the bank.
At the bank.
At the bank. And I had taken care of his accounts for like 10 years at the bank. And he met me at Starbucks and he's like, Rosalia, I really think that you need to meet this guy. And so I met him and I told him, I was like, look, I'm just letting you know, I'm a greenhorn, but I am hungry, I'm driven, and I will tell you I'm very genuine, honest, and forthright. And if I don't know the answer, I will find it, but I will help you through the process. And he said, Rosalia, if I was looking for a shark, I could go to anyone I wanted, but I want you because you were highly recommended to me and I know I can trust you.
And so what was he looking to buy? So
he purchased some commercial properties here in town. And at first the broker was like, oh no, we can't do commercial. You can't do commercial, refer it off. And I was like, why? And he's like, because that's new to you. You don't know anything. I'm like, I don't even know residential at this point. I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, what's the difference, right?
There's no difference. I'll learn it. Like, and that's, I think, one of the hugest things is like when you're hungry for it, when you really want something, nothing can stand in your way.
Right. The listing agent is going to, be happy that you brought him a deal at the end of the day, right? And that, yeah, they might have to do more work, but at the end of the day, it's a commission versus not being sold,
Correct. And I think that's why at the heart of everything, relationships for me is truly the way to go. Truly.
And since then, you've sold him $4 million worth of commercial real estate?
Correct. And that's just through the years, just, being together.
3 years. So, okay. So let's get to the nitty gritty. So like last 12 months, how many houses did you sell or units?
Last 12 months. 2017, I sold 18 properties. I lost 4 to Irma, and because we had Hurricane Irma that hit down here, a very historic storm. I've been here through Andrew, Wilma, you name it. I've been through the hurricanes.
What was the volume on that?
Volume over 7 million.
Okay. And did you know what your ego commission was on that? The total gross commissions?
We do. Yes. Yeah. So over like 6K figures.
So
6 figures, I should say.
So 100,000. So right. So
plus.
Right. All right. So
in my first 4 months my first 6 months in real estate, I did 4 million in transactions.
4 million in transactions in your first 6 months.
Correct. In real estate.
Right. And How? Like, besides this one guy, like what else did you do specifically?
So I'm kind of like a networking queen. I'm a natural born communicator, so I feel like I want to be out there in the community. So I network. I joined clubs and organizations that I already actually belonged to clubs and organization at the time, but things that I was passionate about, whether it would be women's empowerment. I was the president of Women's Network of Collier County at the time as well. Did a lot of stuff with American Cancer Society, local networking groups. Now I belong to the Above the Board Chamber here locally. So just really being out there, but being seen, being present.
What's Above the Board Chamber?
Relationships.
What's Above the Board Chamber?
Above the Board Chamber is a local organization, and it's basically like a local chamber here. And you meet once a month. They talk about hot topics. They have a panel of experts, and they talk from everything like business management, hiring, to social media.
It's just a networking group, basically.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right. And all right. So how has your charity, right? How has your work with charity turned into true karma? And before you answer to that, tell me about it. Like, what do you do? And tell me in a way that if someone's listening and doesn't do any charity work, that is a real estate agent and wants to do charity work, what would you recommend? How did you do it?
Okay, so first, what I would recommend is if you don't do charity work, find out what you're passionate about, whether it would be animals, whether it would be women's empowerment or poverty or whatever it is in your local area. Sign up with the charity. Go to them, go to their membership committee and say, I love what you do. Research them, make sure that they're a 501c3 nonprofit, which means that they are, a true charity. Somebody can say, I could say Rosalia Podolak charity, but I'm not really a charity. I have to be, go through the correct channels. So do your homework on the charity. Do something that you're passionate about. It could be like the local humane society. It could be anything that you're passionate about. Go to them, connect with them and say, I want to help. And then once you get connected with them, you'll start going to different events for the charity. I think above that, what I've learned from it is I've made amazing lifelong friendships. And people, obviously we know people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And it's through those relationships that have formed through my experience in charity work that extends above the real estate realm. It's having a life purpose. My life purpose through my charity work is to help others. I realize like it's bigger than just me. Like there's.
So specifically, what are you doing?
So specifically, actually, it's branched out now. I have a 10-year-old now, my 10-year-old and 5-year-old. My 10-year-old said to me 3 years ago, we did an event for Pace Center for Girls, which is a local place in Immokalee. It's a 501c3. It's a school. And they actually help girls finish their education in high school, get their high school diploma. They have high risk factors. They're girls from ages 15 or 12 all the way to 17 years old. And they have high risk factors, poverty, abuse, you name it. And it really is really something very near and dear to me. So 3 years ago, I did a fundraiser. That's what I do. I usually go to them and say, I want to do a fundraiser for you. I get together with a group of people. We host a fundraiser. Well, my 10-year-old at the time, she says to me, Mom, why can't I come to these events?
Okay, so this is good. I want you to slow down a little bit here because, so what she is saying is, so you find a charity that you love and you just take the responsibility on yourself and say, I want to do a fundraiser for you. And of course they're going to say, okay.
Right.
And now do you get to create said fundraiser or how's that work?
It depends on the charity. Some of them have certain rules that apply, certain things that they want to do, or house the, because you have to have a funnel for the funds. So it can be a little overwhelming, but if you have the right people in place, it all can go really seamless. You host the event, you raise money for the charity, you meet people, you meet great lifelong friends, and it feels so good to know that you made a difference, and it goes above and beyond who you are as an individual, and you're helping others. You're spreading that love and that kindness. And these ripples, like everybody feels it, right? So that's when my daughter, Juliana, came to me and she's like, Mom, I want to attend these events. Because normally I had them at night, like after hours. So she's like, why can't I go? And why can't you do one that has like little girls, like a tea party? I was like, oh, that's perfect. Because this was like all about inspiring young women, giving them the tools they need to graduate high school. And so now we host the Ultimate Gratitude Glam party at the Hilton here in Naples. And this one's scheduled for August 12th. And we just gathered everybody together. And my daughter like got there. She's not me. I'm a ham. My oldest is not a ham, but spoke in front of everybody. And she's like, if you believe it, you can do it. And it's just, so now it's like rippling and other people are getting into the give.
Hey guys, as you know, my book, 6 Steps to 7 Figures, has been a New York Times bestseller and a USA Today bestseller with over 30,000 copies sold to real estate agents and real estate investors alike. And listen, I have decided to do something really special here. I am going to give away 200 copies. Yes, I'm going to give away 200 copies that I have. And all you need to do to get one is to go to free6stepsbook.com. That's free6stepsbook.com, all spelled out, SIX, stepsbook.com. And you can fill out a form, and all you need to do is pay the shipping and handling, and I'm going to send you that book absolutely free. My goal is for you to have this book if you haven't read it yet. An absolute must for any real estate agent's library. 6 Steps to 7 Figures, a real estate professional's guide to building wealth and creating your destiny. Just go to free6stepsbook.com and fill out the form, and I will send it to you absolutely free. Right. Okay. And give me some examples of how this has paid off for you in business ways.
In business ways, again, with people that you know, like, and trust, you meet different people at the event. And I would say that in a business sense, it gives you a sense of awareness in your community, what's going on in the community, who are the people behind the storefronts, behind the businesses. And instead of a cold call, who wants to do a cold call?
Because you're raising money, right? So you're meeting a bunch of business owners.
Right.
Asking them to help out, right?
Right, and they all have the same feeling as you do. You're going to meet like-minded individuals.
And then they know you're a real estate agent.
Right.
And then they work with you as a real estate agent.
That's the hope, and so far it's doing well. That's not my only motive, obviously.
Right, you can't say that, but at the same time,
it ripples.
Is it working? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you do the girls' school, and then what else do you do?
So I continue to network. I continue to, I do a lot of social media. Social media, everybody says, oh, social media is the future. I believe it's now. So I'm harnessing that passion of being out there, being on camera, communicating with people.
Give me some specifics. Like what are you doing?
So I do a Facebook Live video. That's really where
every day?
Every day.
What time?
I don't have a specific time because I want to be
every day you do a live video.
So sometimes it could be in the morning. Sometimes it could be at night and at an event.
And what do you say? Help people out listening.
A local business.
So you're just finding stuff, right? Like I think a lot of people are reluctant to do a live Facebook video to increase their sales in real estate because they're going to be like, oh, it's so vain. What am I going to say? It's just going to be me talking. No one's going to be talking back. I'm going to be so desperate feeling. So tell me like how you get around that and what you do with that. Like, what do you try to do?
Okay. So what my advice would be to somebody who's nervous about doing a Facebook Live is that I think now we've put behind us the sitcoms era and everybody wants reality TV.
Yes.
Right? I actually, one of my first video logs that I did, my Facebook Live, I actually tripped. I was wearing these high heels and I tripped and I was like, oh my God, because initially you want everything to be perfect, right? You want the angle of the camera to be perfect, but life is not perfect. We're not perfect. We all make mistakes. And I think if anything, that showed to me like oh, hold on here. I'm onto something, because I started getting like, you know, those like faces that come up on Facebook.
Yeah.
A bunch of those, and I'm like, okay, send me love because I'm okay.
Right.
You dust yourself off, and you know, if you can't do the live video and you're still kind of like camera shy. And
well, let's say you can't. Well, let's say you want to do it, but you look for people to interact with while you're doing it, right?
Correct. Well, sometimes I do it by myself, and my husband thinks I'm crazy, but that's okay.
What do you talk about?
Everything. I try to be the resource, the rock star in real estate here locally. So I go to events. I talk about communities. I talk about people. I talk about giving back. I interview different charities. I talk about like how I grew up here, what I love about it, the history, everything that makes up Naples and Marco Island. I basically am that resource that people think of. Oh, okay, Rosalia, she knows. Or maybe it's a restaurant. I interview the business owners. I talk to people. I show my, you know, what I'm eating, whatever. Like, and then
whenever there's an opportunity, you just seize it, right? And it's like, I'm here. I'm gonna do it. Okay, so you started saying, okay, if you don't like doing that, you can. What were you gonna say?
You can do videos that are, you know, edited. I don't like to do it. I don't have time to edit my own.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But if you want, you can, you know, put a tripod on. I honestly just get a selfie stick and I just go and I tell people, look, I'm not techie, but this is pure natural. This is me. Yep. And I think everybody has a special sauce. Okay. Right? Everybody tells me like, what are you doing different than so-and-so is doing? And how are you overcoming that? Honestly, it's because I have what I have. You have what you have. Everybody has their special sauce, their special ingredients. And I just say that's why maybe corporate America didn't want that whole, I didn't fit into that peg, that square peg. Right? And so there's so much energy, so much that we have as humans to share. It's like, just share you, just be you. Like nobody could be you, right? Nobody could be Pat. Nobody could be Rosalia, because we were born for a purpose.
Yeah. I got it. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit. You say you're not a technology person, but you obviously have to keep this all together. Like, what are you using? What apps do you like? What, you know, give me some specifics so people that want to get into this could do it themselves.
Yep, definitely Facebook Live.
Yep.
Definitely. I started YouTube, but I wasn't finding the reaction as much. So now I just started copying and pasting, and I need to be a little bit more driven with that. I dabble in Instagram. I need to do more of that. BombBomb is a cool app. It actually is like video marketing. It helps me out being in front of my customers. The relationship. So I actually did a Marilyn Monroe version of Happy Birthday.
For who?
I send it to my customers.
Oh! So you do it every time?
Yes.
And it's a video.
And it's a video.
Okay.
And I'm trying to do more of that.
Okay.
Again, you know, trying to plan and put it out there. That's one of the things I'm.
So would you say pretty much all of your business is coming from relationships? Period.
I don't pay for Zillow. I don't pay for any of those things. I feel like I don't want to, it's like low-bearing fruit. I learned this through banking. It's low-bearing fruit. People know you, they trust you, they love you. Like, we're people, right? Salesman is a dirty word. Nobody wants to be sold anything. I don't want to sell somebody something. I want them to get value from what I have to offer. And when they see that value, the customer loyalty will follow.
No, it's great. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of agents are going broke. You know, a lot of agents are jumping in the business and spending thousands of dollars and getting addicted to, you know, internet leads and thinking that the only way to get business is to buy business. And then what happens is they look at their profit loss and it shows that they lost money or they broke even, and they're just building their businesses constantly and the profit is terrible. But someone like you could jump in and sell a house in 2 weeks just by relationships and continue to build a business that's based on zero expense, pretty much, because Facebook Live is free. Giving your time to charity is free.
It's your time. It's your hustle. It's, if you're hungry for it, you go out there, you meet people, and showing them who you are, rather than comparing yourself to somebody else, because we can't fill anybody else's shoes. We have our own shoes we put on. You know, it's like the Dorothy. I have actually red shoes that look like Dorothy. And it's like, if you believe it, you've always had the power within you. You just have to click your heels.
And you just go out into the world and just do you hand out business cards constantly? Do you just, what do you do? Think of me.
You know, and this is something else. I don't like automatically shove a business card in somebody's face. I think there's an etiquette as far as business savviness goes. And I tell them, how can I help you? How can I refer business to you? What can I do to help you? Because I thoroughly love to help people. So that's what I'm doing. I'm helping them. And then in return, they're going to ask me, well, what do you need? Well, that's like a natural reaction that people have, right?
Yeah.
So I feel that by making those connections, by asking them, how can I help you? Rather than shoving a business card in their face, you'll eventually exchange business card or become friends on LinkedIn or whatever it is. But I think it's all about how can you give to receive.
Reciprocity, right?
Yes.
It's huge. So whenever I talk to agents that have been in the business a short period of time, I love them to tell stories about how they beat out an experienced agent or an agent who was confident and thought that they were going to get some business, and they came in a rookie like you, green, and just took the business from them, because it happens all the time. Can you tell me how that may have happened with you?
Yes. So 3 years ago when I first started out and I had my first listing appointment, I was up against, they even told me 2 other realtors.
Yeah.
And at the time it was like a $500,000 listing. So I knew, in my mind, I'm like, thank God we can have dinner for a while.
You're a couple of months in the business,
my
right?
family, could be okay. And so I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to bring me to the table? Because at the end of the day, it's just like you can go to any bank, you can go to any real estate office, you can go anywhere to get your stuff done. But you have to be the one to stand out. So what I did was and again, most of it is through relationships. So I was referred to the person as a possible realtor to take on the listing. And I have an about me page that I printed off.
Okay.
Something that I put in my listing packets. So I have a listing.
What's it say?
It has, what can you expect from doing business with me?
Okay.
And I have on there a little spiel of who I am, how I grew up in the area, how I am dedicated to customer loyalty. And then I say the services, obviously, that I render. But then I said at the end, I always put on there, if you're looking for someone who will contact you, keep in touch, do good, and have your best interest at heart, and even sacrificing a commission check, then I'm the person for you.
Okay, stop right there. So far, those 4 things are great, but all agents say that. And now I know that you probably exude that rather than just say it, right? They're cliche.
One of the key things, you
right?
You hit it right on the head. It's your energy. You have to own the room.
You have to. They have to know that you have those 4 cliches amplified. You can't just write it out, right? Because otherwise it's blah 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 blah, right? Every agent says that. So now go to where you talk about the commission and explain that.
I think after I share with them all of my benefits that I bring to the table, and now I even harness the Facebook Lives, and that I get thousands of views on each one of my videos, it's putting me in a different position here locally.
Okay.
And so that's another aspect of my listing plan. And I cater it and I do, to whatever the customer wants. But I think at the end of the day, when you are referred by somebody else, the pressure's already off. because there's already a trust factor that's built.
There is, but the other two people may have been referred to, and the other two people, you know, and they're stronger, right? They're strong. Talk to me about the commission, though. You said, you know, even if it means what? I give up the commission, or what? I don't understand that. Like,
I just
elaborate.
tell them I don't get paid until we close, right? Everybody says that same thing. I don't get paid until we close. However, there's money, and you know this, there's money that's invested into that deal before, like, it even goes to market. The professional pictures, the video footage, all that, right? But I really think it's showing, wearing your heart on your sleeve and bringing your energy with you. I just think it's about owning it. I think it's about being not arrogant. You don't want to be arrogant. Who wants to deal with somebody who's arrogant? You want to be humble, of course, grateful for the opportunity, but I think you just have to show them, like, you're a real person.
How do you do that, though? I mean, people are listening like, oh, yeah, you know, but she's a natural, right? Like, give me some advice. Like, what exactly it is that you do while you're there at the listing appointment that allows you to beat a 20-year veteran and you've been in the business 6 months?
That's a hard question to ask, and I hardly get baffled by questions or stumped. But at the time when I started out, I just had referrals. Like, and it just continued. Like, it's just people that I knew so first, in my first 6 months, I had the guy that I knew at the bank. I had opened up his account, right, 10 years ago. So he was my customer for 10 years prior in the banking sector. The second one was actually a girl that I trained for being an assistant manager at a bank. So I was her trainer. So
okay, so she trusted you. Yeah. Right?
Then I had a mom that was a single mom, and through my charity work with the Women's Network of Collier County, I had helped her purchase her home and she didn't know that was possible with only $1,000, mind you, to get the house. We did a USDA loan. So I think the relationships is key. So again, and this
you're more or less treating everybody like they're your own kids.
Yes, right? Not kids, but you don't want to
numbers. Yeah, you don't care. Like, you don't care. You know how hard you're going to have to work for this lady that she only has $1,000. You don't care if it ends up you only make $1,000 on the deal. You don't care about any of that. You just care about the relationship, and you're going to do whatever it takes, and the money's going to come as a byproduct of effort. And you're not looking at a per deal commission. You're just looking at it an end of the year sort of thing, you know?
Overall, correct. Because let's say they don't find a house today, next month, 3 months from now, but they're going to remember how hard you worked for it. They're going to remember that. I don't have them sign, a broker's relationship with me. It's open-ended. They can do, however they want it.
Which is important now, because it's an interesting thing. Like, if you don't sign a buyer broker agreement with you, co-op commissions are dropping. And I know in Florida there's been some articles written, some things said, people come on the show, you don't know going in if you're going to get 3%, 2%, 1%, or $100. And so if you don't have a buyer broker agreement, you're taking a big risk nowadays.
But isn't everything a risk?
Yeah.
Everything's a risk. Like, if you don't earn that trust with that person, then why do business with somebody who doesn't respect you, honor you, and it's a mutual thing? I just feel like from person to person, you want to surround yourself with people that you love to be around. And that's probably one key factor that I missed out in telling somebody. So this is something very important. Surround yourself with people that are doing it, right? No grass grows under their feet. You want to be around those people. So you surround yourself with great attorneys. You surround yourself with great lenders. You surround yourself with great centers of influence. The people, like your specific entourage, right? Your awesome photographer for your listings, your videographer. You surround yourself with people that are making it happen.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now.
So tell me about, going back to a little bit of the charity thing. You know, you're in a local magazine on the, the top 5 people in the area who are making a difference, and then Oprah Winfrey, Nate Berkus' show picked you up, flew you out to New York City, and tell me about that, like how that happened. And
so that was when my first daughter Juliana was about like 2 or 3 years old. I actually had started my own 501c3 charity called I Want to Help at the time.
I Want to Help.
I Want to Help.
And then you just, I want to help. And then you just help charities with it.
I helped charities. I helped local people in need. People, I actually had it on, it was internet driven. And people can actually, from the general public and the community, can nominate people in need. So whether it would be something from medical conditions.
That's awesome.
I helped
like a GoFundMe, but a local one that you can control.
At the time, cool. I don't think GoFundMe was available. There was and so we helped out people with a kid with a bone marrow condition, a local teacher that needed a kidney transplant, which you end up forming relationships with these people. And so through the charity work, I had seen online that there was a submission for Oprah Winfrey Network looking for a person that gives back in their local community. And I thought, oh, that's so awesome. Like, if anything, it could really raise awareness for what we're doing here locally. And so had submitted the nomination. And then one of the casting producers had called me and said, we really love what you're doing in your local area. And then it was like, you know how like when you're in that moment, you're in that zone and everything just starts unfolding.
Yeah.
Got interviewed by the local magazine, Gulf Shore Life magazine, as 1 out of 5 people in our local area that make a difference. And communicated with Nate Berkus' show for about 4 or 5 months. It was like slow go at the beginning. And then all of a sudden she calls me and she's like, Rosalia, we want you on this show. We want to fly you to New York. It's going to be nationally to expose to 3 million viewers. And I was like, oh my God, crazy. But, and so I went for it. I told my husband, I'm like, okay, they're flying me out to New York and I'm going to be on, the show with Nate Berkus. And it was amazing. The experience, it crashed my website because I had like a GoDaddy website. It wasn't like anything fancy at the time. You just open up a website, get a domain going, and that's why I say take action, seize the day.
So basically, and then what happened? Tell me about the bubble boy that was there with that and all that happened.
So what ended up happening was, prior to that, I had raised money for a local boy who needed a bone marrow transplant.
Yep.
And his name was Baby Adam. And he actually was on the local show, on the local news here, they had said some people stole his donation containers at the time. Jeez. How horrible is that?
And this was all part of I Want to Help, right?
That was at the time, yes.
So it's kind of a cool idea, actually. If you're an agent and you're in your area and you just create, I don't even know if you need to set up a charity to do this, and you just say, I want to help, send me ideas. Every month I pick an idea and give a certain amount or help raise a certain amount or put some effort into I Want to Help. And then this little boy, his parents or whatever reach out, or someone that nominates him, you raise, how much money did you raise for him?
Well, in the end, it was, I think in the beginning we raised over 10,000, and then somebody actually found through like internet or whatever, and they actually donated a camper to him. And that was like $200 and something thousand.
Jeez. And because he had to live separately, right? He couldn't.
Correct. He had to actually stay contained in a sterilized environment. His parents had to wear masks. And it was one of those things where you just realize life is so precious, and the things that I take for granted, somebody else is praying for. And so, just through that, they actually had him on the show as a surprise to me.
Oh, wow.
And I got to meet him. And of course, like, I'm crying, and, it was such a beautiful moment. And now it sends ripples. So like all these things, and the reason why I'm telling you this is because you do good and just the ripples keep
right.
going.
Yes.
So my now 10-year-old daughter, 3 years ago, we did an event for Pay Center for Girls, the ones that I was telling you about. And so she basically said, Mom, I need to do an event. I want to host a fundraiser, and we can do like a tea party and get together and raise money for Pay Center for Girls, which is a local school in our area. And I'm so passionate about that program and what they do. And so now she has this vision, and we put together this fundraiser, and now we put together this tea party at the Naples Hilton.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Rosalia, so let's talk about your free gift. As you know, everybody that comes on the show brings a free gift, and what we do is we're going to put it in your show notes, and we'll put it in the Agent Success Toolbox. So, what is your free gift today?
So, my free gift is a PDF file, and it talks about my top 5 tips, your basic principles of how you can grow your business and gain earnings. And I think these tips are not only for real estate agents, they are for anybody in the business sector that really talks about relationships and networking and social media, and really getting down to the nitty-gritty of what my top 5 tips are. And I think it's an awesome thing. I wish I would have had that when I started.
Oh, that's awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on HeidmanDigital.com/Rosalia. Just her first name, Rosalia, Rosalia. HeidmanDigital.com/Rosalia. And Rosalia, I will also put this in the Agent Success Toolbox, which can be found on HeidmanDigital.com/Toolbox, or text the word Toolbox to 444-999. Rosalia, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much. I wish you the best in all your future endeavors. If I'm ever in Naples or Marco Island, we will get together and break some bread.
Yay! That would be awesome. We'll have some pasta. I'm Italian, so.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pat.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Estate Rockstars. If this free content is giving you a ton of value, I want to ask a small favor in return. I need you to pull out your pointing finger and hit the subscribe button. Yes, hit subscribe, please. The more subscribers that we get on Real Estate Rockstars, the better guests are attracted to the shows. We'll get more guests from the top companies, from the top teams, and even more celebrity guests like Robert Kiyosaki and Barbara Corcoran. Also, if you're not a member of our free Facebook group, go to Real Estate Rockstars Radio right on Facebook and join the conversation. I'm on there myself on FaceTime Lives, and we have a lot of communications and questions about the show, and I'd love to see you there. And it's free. People ask me all the time, where am I on social media? I'm real easy to find. Just type in my name. My IG is I am Pat Heidman. It is blowing up on Instagram, adding tons of subscribers, and I'm on there probably twice a day. So definitely follow me on Instagram, as well as everywhere else. Thanks again for listening, and keep rocking.